Okay, so I just feel like shit. So I go deposit my account and I find out that it's $67 overdrawn. So this check that I'm getting for like $120, I'm just taking in my bank account, which is like the only money I'm gonna have for the next like week, and I have to drive home. I'm finding out like is basically not as much as it is because I was overdrawn. I didn't even know. And so I'm just like having the fucking worst day, and I go to Saga, like, and I'm thinking in my head, like, oh, Martin is sometimes in Saga early in the day. So I was like really hoping he would be there. And he wasn't, and so I'm like just like not feeling it, and I'm like really hungry, I hadn't eaten anything, and like I just like felt like shit. So I went back to my room, and eventually Martin messages me and he's like, "What's up?" And this is I haven't seen Martin in like 2 days. Like I didn't even talk to him yesterday. So I'm just like Martin, like I'm just like constantly thinking about Martin. And so he messages me and I'm just like, God, worst day of my fucking life. And he's like, "What happened?" And I'm like, I tell him about the accident and all this shit. And then and I'm like, "Oh yeah, you're still coming home with me for Thanksgiving, right?" And I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but he's gonna come home with me. But I need to get more tissues. Hold on. Okay. But because of the ferries, me like getting a reservation was really hard because everybody's going home for Thanksgiving, and so I was only able to get like an 8:15 in the morning boat. And obviously we're not going to get up at like 11 o'clock at night, having, you know, just like been alive the entire day to drive 8 hours and get on this boat, like not sleep and just drive. So I like mentioned this to a girl who we're going to end up driving home and getting half the gas money for. And she was like, "Oh, you guys should just stay at my house for the night." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's kind of like a perfect solution because we'll get her house at like 11 o'clock at night. We'll leave on Tuesday, get to her house late at night. Martin and I will go to sleep, wake up at like 6 before they're even awake. So we'll totally like take the awkwardness out of the situation. We'll just do this." But like before, I wanted to talk to Martin about it in person because he's like sort of weird about those types of things. So, but I hadn't seen him in so long that I was waiting. But it's getting down to like the nib of it. And so I'm sitting, after just told Martin what an awful day I had, I'm sitting here telling him, like asking him if he's still coming home with me. And he's like, "Oh, I don't know, I'm really torn. Because I'm feeling really guilty about my family." And he's like feeling guilty that his little brother, you know, that he'll be missing his little brother, you know, like he wants his little brother to, I don't know. Anyway, I get it, you know, but I also get that he'd already told me he was coming home with me, and he's going home for Christmas apparently in 2 months, or of 2 weeks. So I was just like, I know I was feeling kind of shitty about it, you know, like I'm not gonna make him come with me, and like I know that it's his family, and I'm probably overreacting because I'm like in love with him, but like it just like added to my day of what like a bad day I'd had. So we kind of get back to like how bad a day it had been and everything, and then I'm like, "Okay, well I can't talk about this anymore because I'm crying, so I'll talk to you later." And he was like, "Well, I'm here if you need me." And I just sort of leave it. And then a couple hours later there's a knock at my door, and it's Hui and Tom and Brent and Jesse, who I don't know if you know, but they're all standing there. And Hui goes, "Jackie told us that we should come by and get the fridge, and so yeah, we're here to get that." First of all, you don't need 4 fucking people to get the fridge. They didn't text me before they came. They just showed up at my room and expected me to hand over this fridge that they know I'm like pissed about, which is probably why all 4 of them come. And I don't want to give it to them. And so I'm like, "Oh, well, I don't really know. I don't know where it is." And or I don't have it. And they were like, "Oh, well, you know where it is?" I was like, "Yeah, but I'm, you know, now's not really a good time." And yeah, you could have texted first. And like I see Tom there, and he had been like hiding around the corner, and so I was sort of like pissed that he was hiding. And I was like, "And you, I need to talk to you later, by the way." So he's like, "Okay." And then I'm like, "Yeah, now's just not a good time." And he's like, "Okay, well, I guess we'll come back later." And I was like, "Okay, bye, Hui. Yep, okay." And I was like kind of rude, but I was kind of annoyed and whatever, and I don't care. And so they leave. And then I'm like stressing the fuck out because I want to get this over with. I want to talk to Tom about it. Like, this whole thing had just happened. I just, like, it was like 11 o'clock, and I was just like, I need out of my room, and I, like, want to go and talk to them about it now. I just want to get it over with. And so I message Martin, and let me pull this up so that I can get the thing right, the story right. Sorry. Sorry, hold on. Okay, so I text him, or message him, and I'm like, oh my god, now is the time to respond. A whole arsenal of people just knocked on my door. And I told him the story, and I was like, get up, we have to handle this. And then he didn't respond for like 10 minutes. So then I was like, Martin, what happened to the whole, like, I'm here if you need me thing? And then he didn't answer. So I was like, get it together, boy. And then I waited like 45 minutes, and he still didn't respond. So I got up, I got dressed, I went over to his dorm. I looked up, and I saw that he was in his room. I go into the dorm, and as I'm walking in, I saw his friend Tyler and this other kid that I didn't know, but who knew Martin. And they're like, oh, you're going to see Martin? Like, we want to come see Martin. So I'm like, okay, but he, like, does not like it when people bang on his door late at night. So, like, your own funeral. So they come with me, and we knock on his door, and he doesn't answer. And I start, like, I'm like, Martin, like, I need you. This is Lindsay, and the other kid is like, and this is Tyler, and blah, 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 I don't know the kid's name. And the door's locked. And so the kid's like, oh, well, maybe he's not in there. And I was like, okay, I'll go check the bathroom. So I go and check the bathroom, like, giving Martin the benefit of the doubt that he's not in the fucking room. And I come back, and he wasn't in the bathroom, and I knock on the door again, and Tyler and this other kid are, like, half drunk or something, so they're sort of, like, bored, and they end up going down the hall into this other kid's room that they know. So now it's just me standing outside the door, and I knock on it, and I'm like, Martin, they've gone into a room, it's just Lindsay, I need you, can you please just open the door? Now, forgive me if I'm wrong, but, like, if he opened the door, and he was just like, oh, you want to go to Tom's? Like, no, I'm not feeling that, like, whatever, I would walk away. Like, yeah, maybe I'd be a little upset that I was like, oh, I needed him and he didn't come. But no, I was just, like, wanting, like, I just knew that he was in there, and it pissed me off that he wasn't even fucking opening the door. So I write a note that just says, hey, Martin, like, I don't even remember what it says, but it, like, says this whole thing, and then I'm like, okay, well, I thought we were friends, so you kind of suck right now, and I, like, shoved it under the door. And then I leave, and I go, and I sit outside, and I look up, and I see him just sitting there, just chilling in his room. And I sit outside for probably, like, half an hour, just, like, kind of crying and, like, upset. And I'm, like, still upset. And then I come back to my room, and I was only here for, like, 10 minutes when Martin messages me. And he goes, who slammed my door? So, let me just run you through the thoughts that are going through my head. Who slammed my door? At this point, that's all he said. So, number one, I know that he knew that I was there, because otherwise he wouldn't be messaging me, of all people. He'd just be like, who slammed my door? So he knew that I was there. Then it says, don't bring people to my room without telling me. That's all it says. Then I don't answer. And I just sit there. And he can see that I saw it. So I don't say anything. And then he goes, it's rude. It's rude. I'm sitting there going, well, it's rude for you to not fucking open your door. It's rude for people to be standing outside your door no matter who they are, and you don't fucking answer. I know for a fact you're fucking in your room. So it's rude, Martin. It's rude. Let me make a new video.